Welcome! The first thing we are going to learn about is clefs. In the string orchestra, the violin players use the treble clef. The viola players use the alto clef. The violoncello, otherwise known as cello, uses the bass clef. And the contrabass, usually just we say bass, uses the bass clef as well. But the bass sounds 8 notes lower, an octave lower, and could have been marked like this, but tradition has it that it uses just the bass clef. Next, we are going to look at the key signature. On the 5-line staff, the key signature is to the right of the clef. It tells us what sharps or flats to play. We are going to learn the key of D first. The key of D has 2 sharps. They look like hashtags. The key signature shows 2 sharps on the line or space that shows that note name. The next item on the 5-line staff is the time signature. The top number of the time signature tells us how many beats there are in the measure. The bottom number tells us which note gets the beat. The quarter note is 1/4 of a common time measure, like a quarter is 1/4 of a dollar. Remember, a signature identifies the person. A time signature identifies the number of beats in a measure. You can have a variety of numbers in the top space, as long as the numbers are not too high to make you lose count. The bottom number identifies which note gets the beat: half, quarter, eighth, or 16th. 2, 4, 8, or 16 would appear as the bottom number. The key signature gives us the key to how many sharps or flats are in the music.
Aha!
So how many key signatures are there? Well, there's a lot of people who argue over that. The first answer would be 24 keys, 12 major and 12 minor. But sticking to the idea of enharmonic notes and the 24 keys, but making a difference between the note F sharp and G flat, since they require the same amount of sharp and flat symbols, then you end up with 26 keys. But if you count keys while you keep adding sharps or flats until all 7 natural notes A to G have a sharp or flat, you have 30. But counting all 7 natural notes on their own, as well as their respective flattened and sharpened notes, we get 21 note names, and so that is 42 keys. Of course, there isn't an infinite number of keys because... Oh, I'm so sorry. So why so many key signatures? Just as humans experience a myriad of emotions, composers use the array of keys and modes to express those emotions in their music. It is not by accident that the compelling "We Shall Overcome," a civil rights anthem and one of Dr. Martin Luther King's favorite songs, is in the key of C. The chords and scales of C major evoke powerful resolve and earnestness. Beethoven chose the key of D major for the musical expression of Schiller's poem Ode to Joy. The key of D major inspires triumph, cheer, and happy gatherings, just as the poem's words praise and hope for freedom and peace between all peoples. Okay, that was cool. But why is there such a variety of time signatures in music? Now, to play music and to play it musically, the structure of the measure is very important. Not all notes are equal. Here's the order in 4/4. The first beat is the head of the measure, the president of the group. The first beat is always the head of the measure. Who do you think is next? Most people guess second, but it's the third who is the vice president of the measure. So who is next? Still not the second. The fourth beat is the upbeat to the first, the assistant to the president, and that person outranks the assistant to the vice president, beat 2. Conductors use this beat pattern for 4/4, giving a strong downbeat to show that beat's importance, then to the left, right, and up for the upbeat. In 3/4 time, beat 1 is still the most important, but in this tiny country, measure, it has no vice president. The upbeat still aids the first, and beat 2 comes in last. This is the beat pattern for 3/4. Down, right, up. As the time signature changes, the ebb and flow of the music changes. Here's an example to help you hear and feel the difference. This is Twinkle as we all know it, written in 4/4. Here is the same Twinkle theme in 3/4 time. So a time signature is another creative tool for the composer or songwriter. As you can see, there are worlds to discover in learning to read music. As I joke with my students, how do you eat an elephant? A little bit at a time. So we are going to look at learning music one tiny step at a time. This is what you need to remember from this video. The violin uses the treble clef, the viola, the alto clef, and the cello and bass, the bass clef. These clefs are placed first on the 5-line staff. Next come the signatures, and just like your signature identifies you, the key signature identifies the key, and the time signature tells us the beat pattern. Now you have the basic foundation for music reading. See you next time.